Well, to begin with, I think if you join the military, you have a chance of experiencing a lot of different things, and it's up to you to decide what you want or what you don't want, and follow it. You have a choice of so many things now that we didn't have when we were growing up, and a lot of changes. And if we think about it, when most of the changes were made in medicine or in nursing or anything, they were made during a war. A war caused it, because one of the things is the stay in bed after surgery. You used to have to stay in bed maybe a couple of weeks after surgery. Now you get up and walk around. You go to have a baby, you have a baby, you get up and take a shower. And there's a lot of changes that were caused because of the war, because they had to get people in and out quickly. I have a sister, a brother, a husband. I think at one time there were 10 or 12 people, family in the Navy or the Army. And we had, yes, my sister was I guess they call them waves at that time. I was in the Navy Reserve, and I was discharged from that as a Lieutenant JG. It was just a completely new life. It really meant a change of life, change of way of living, change of way of where I was. It changed a lot of the little things according to how we needed them. Because I had grown up during the Depression, see, and everybody was poor at that time. Everybody had nothing. Every once in a while, something will come up that reminded me of something that happened when I was younger. My father was Evander Jones, and my mother was Alva Lee Adams Jones. My mother was a school teacher in the one-room schoolhouses at that time. She also was part of the post office and a teacher. So, and he worked with the railroad when he first came down from North Carolina, and got into the turpentine business in Perry, Florida. My mother died at age 37, and my grandmother took care of us all through the school years. In high school, I had a small job working in a grocery store, and then went into nursing. I think it was 1939, and graduated from St. Luke's Hospital in 1942. And the very next year, I went into service. Well, there wasn't much choice, because in Perry there was nothing there, no job for me, only maybe the 10-cent store, because they didn't hire women very much at that time. And we had to kind of do what was available at that time, so that's what I tried to do. Well, I wanted something that I could develop something. I didn't want to just stay still in the grocery store. And that way, I think our public health nurse and my older sister decided maybe I should go into nursing, so they looked into that for me and kind of guided me into it. That was a 3-year program at that time, and not connected with a university or any advanced education. But as I was in there, the war started, and they started developing other areas only just in the hospital, and graduated from St. Luke's Hospital in 1942. Then I went into service, and was in service I think the date for my active service was around 1947. It was more steady, more, I guess, exciting to think about being a Navy nurse. I made quite a few friends when I got into the service area. I don't feel like it was a sacrifice. I think I enjoyed each place that I was in at the time. We had an indoctrination period where we learned about the Navy hospitals, and were transferred from several places. Let's see, I was in Newport, Rhode Island at one time. I started out at Portsmouth, Virginia, Newport, Rhode Island. I was discharged out from Bermuda. That was my last service in the active service. And at that time, I think there were 2 cars in Bermuda. One was for the doctor, and the other one, I guess, for the governor, whoever had charge. Kind of an emergency hospital for the people who were in the Navy there. Well, I think one of the most fortunate things was that I was in the service and could see how things were done, how people lived, a lot about people. So I think it's just an experience all of its own, just living in that area and watching it grow. I got out of the Navy after about 2.5 or 3 years. After that, I went into the Veterans Hospital, worked as a nurse there for about 12 years. My first was in Brooklyn, New York, a very straightforward place. I worked in the operating room quite a bit and was transferred down to Lake City. And from then, when I got out of the active, we were subject to being called back. I was called back one time, and was at the Veterans Hospital at that time, so I did not go back into service. Well, I went back to school and got a BS in nursing education. From that, I went over to Mariana and started a practical nursing program. And after that, I went back to school full-time. I went to the University of North Florida, started, and I got a master's there. A master's in health education. And that's when I started working with the college to start a new program for the community. It was called a community college at that time. Yes, I was one of the first instructors there. Yes, it was quite a project whenever it got started. 1967, because we had our first graduating class in 1969, so it started out with 60. And there were, I think, 3 or 4 instructors. That was the very basic nursing at that time. I think out of that 60, about 37 graduated. So I thought that was a pretty good for the first class. A lot of people came in, they didn't know what nursing was all about. And it just was too much for them, so they just dropped out. Maybe came back later, I don't know. A lot of times you just have to take what God gives you to work with. And He's been giving me a lot of plenty, I'll tell you lately, especially. So I'm certainly glad that for my life, I've been this way. Here to stay for a little while longer, I guess. I've learned a lot from it, and learning more every day.